We're filming! Thank you for this model. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So loud, I can hear everything, we can't film! Ah! Hey guys, it's Joseph from BlackboxMyCar. Just like we talked about in our first look video last week, we're back with an in-depth review of the new VIOFO A129 Plus Duo dash cam. It's the first dual channel dash cam under $200 that offers 2K QHD in the front and 1080p Full HD in the rear. And most importantly, this version of the VIOFO A129 Plus Duo is exclusive to us at BlackboxMyCar. Interested in learning more about VIOFO and all of our other exciting dashcam brands at BlackboxMyCar? Be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything dashcams. The A129 Plus is perfect for those looking for something just more than Full HD, but doesn't necessarily need the 4K recording from the A129 Pro. This comes in two variants, the 1-channel Plus and the 2-channel Plus Dual. When you're just using just the 1 channel, you can actually get 2K recording at 60 frames per second. However, if you want front and rear coverage, you're gonna be reduced back to 30 frames per second, but it's still great. So let's start off by looking at the VIOFO A129 1-channel Plus variant. So if we compare that in terms of hardware with the VIOFO A119 V3, it uses the same chipset, so you can expect that the video quality will be more or less the same. And same with wide angle view, you can expect that it's going to be the same 140-degree wide angle view. So what are the main differences between these two dash cams? Well, for one, the VIOFO A129 Plus now comes with dual band Wi-Fi support, as well as now is integrated with the VIOFO smartphone app. That means with this app, you'll be able to use your smartphone and tap into the live view feature directly on the VIOFO A129 Plus. What this also means is that with the new app integration, video playback is now even more convenient, because now you don't have to necessarily play back your footage directly on the LCD screen itself. What you can do is tie it directly through the smartphone app and play back all your footage from there. And not only that, you don't have to necessarily take your micro SD card out as such and plug that into your computer to review all your footage. Everything can be done directly through the smartphone app. And last but not least, a major upgrade from the A119 V3 is the addition of the rear camera for the A129 Plus, which brings us to our next point, which is talking about the 2-channel A129 Plus Dual. So the VIOFO A129 Plus is designed to be the upgraded version of the A129 Dual. In fact, the A129 Dual is getting discontinued to make way for this new dash cam. If you've watched some of the other A129 Plus reviews on YouTube, you might notice that some reviewers were able to achieve 2-channel at 60 frames per second. That said, we do want to let you know that for those reviewers, they were sent the first batch of test units from VIOFO, and unfortunately, in order to optimize the performance from the VIOFO has decided to remove that feature. So we'll see whether or not VIOFO decides to add that feature back in future batch units. Other than the recording resolution between both of these dash cams, the other major difference with the A129 Plus is the way that the rear camera records. Previously, as you know, the front camera controls the way both the front and the rear records. This time, with the A129 Plus, VIOFO has introduced something new by incorporating a chipset into the rear camera itself. What that means is, as the rear camera records, it automatically records and pushes its data directly onto the SD card rather than going through the front unit. From a user experience standpoint, it doesn't really change much. You're gonna use it exactly the same way as before. But what this means is we're optimizing the performance from both the front and rear camera by having them encode the footage separately. So because of the way the rear camera is different on the Plus, if you're looking to upgrade from the Dual or from the A119 Plus V3 over into the A129 Plus, you won't be able to use the same rear camera, nor will you be able to use the same wiring. In fact, we hear a lot of you guys, a lot of our customers, the feedback that they've gotten from the installation step was that the rear connecting cable from the Duo or the A119 V3 or even from the Pro, they found that the rear connecting cable was a little bit too thick in order to hide within the pillars. So with that said, VIOFO has taken that feedback and produced a connecting cable that is much thinner comparatively. So installation standpoint, it should be way easier to hide the cables. But that said, if you're upgrading, do note that you're gonna have to completely rewire your wires within your vehicle. The other thing to note, now that the rear camera has its own chipset, is that when you're upgrading the camera firmware, you will need to update the firmware for both the front and the rear camera separately. Just like we saw in the VIOFO A129 Pro, what VIOFO has brought on to the A129 Plus is the new H.264 and H.265 compression technology. What that means is now that you have H.265, you're gonna get smaller file sizes and better compression, meaning you can squeeze more into your SD card. The only thing is, VIOFO has done a really good job in hiding the H.265 compression mode. So in order for you to turn it on, all you need to do is stop recording by clicking on the recording button. You'll notice that the recording light will keep blinking, and then hold on to the mic button until you see the SD card icon with the down arrow on the left-hand side of the screen. This icon, not the most intuitive, registers that the VIOFO Plus is now in H.265 encoding mode. So after you're in this mode, all you need to do is click on the recording button again, and now it's going to record in H.265 encoding. So one of the other questions that you guys might be having is, how does the buffered parking mode stack up against the Duo and as well as the Pro? Well, here are our findings. We did some experiments and check out what we found out. Like with all VIOFO dash cams, in order for you to achieve parking mode, you need to make sure you have the right setup. Make sure you guys are either hardwiring your dash cam using the VIOFO 3-wire hardwiring kit, or using the Cellink Neo battery pack to properly install your VIOFO dash cam and to achieve parking mode. Like we talked about before, for those of you guys upgrading from the Duo up to the Plus, you'll have to replace both the front and rear camera completely, as well as the wiring in between, especially when they're different this time. For those of you guys looking for a suction cup mount, unfortunately the one from the VIOFO A119 V3 will not be compatible with the Plus. There is no news on a suction cup mount dedicated for the Plus right now, but we'll let you guys know if anything changes. Like all VIOFO dash cams, my favorite thing about this dash cam is the 2-inch LCD screen. It allows me to very quickly make changes on the fly using all of these buttons right here. And hey, what's also awesome with the VIOFO A129 Plus is VIOFO now has the VIOFO app integrated with it. So now, with the VIOFO app, I can easily also make changes to the settings on the fly. Both ways, just as easy. So to start off, why don't we go through the buttons that are on the VIOFO dash cams themselves. So on the side, right here, let's plug that bad boy in, and right away, the screen will turn on. All right, so now the screen's on. Now you'll be able to make all the changes that you need right here. So notice that the record button is on, meaning that it's already started to record right here. But that said, in order for you to make changes to any of the settings, you have to make sure that you stop recording. So all you gotta do is click on the record button, and you'll see that it's flashing right there, which means the dash cam has stopped recording. Now, all you got to do in order to get access to the settings is click on the hamburger icon on the left-hand side of the device. Let's click on that and check it out. Now you have access to all the settings in the device, and you can make changes on the fly right away. Now let's get out of that. And like we talked about before, if you wanted to change it to H.265 encoding, hold on, well, first of all, stop recording, and then hold on to the mic button until you see the SD card icon on the left-hand side of the screen with the down arrow. That means that the device is now in H.265 compression technology. Click on the recording button again, and now it's recording in H.265. Last but not least, if you want to turn the mic on or off, you can click on this mic button right here. You'll see the little green icon on the left, on the top, just like that. And last but not least, if you wanted to connect to the VIOFO app, you have to turn on the Wi-Fi on the VIOFO dash cams itself. So, like we said before, let's click on the record button and have that stop recording. Now, hold on to the two rectangles overlapping one another icon on the right-hand side of the device. Hold it for 2 seconds, and it'll automatically pop into Wi-Fi mode. So all the settings for the Wi-Fi is located on the bottom of the screen itself, and you're gonna go to your device, turn on your Wi-Fi, and connect to the VIOFO network presented here on the screen. So for us, it's 5G VIOFO A129S with the model names afterwards. After you're connected, open up your VIOFO app, and you'll see that it's already connected to the live view setting on the VIOFO device itself. Now, after you get access to the VIOFO app, all you gotta do is stop recording, click on the settings, and you'll be able to make all the changes you need from there. Last but not least, with the VIOFO A129 Plus, VIOFO has actually released two separate models, one being the non-eMMC version and the other being the eMMC version. In other words, instead of relying on an SD card that you plug into the device, all your footage will now be stored in the internal storage of the device. And what you can also do is add an SD card on top. With the eMMC version, it comes with 16 gigs of flash storage. So to answer a couple of questions that customers have had with us, which version do we carry? Well, for us at BBMC, we're carrying the non-eMMC version, which is going to be $10 less than the eMMC version. You'll just have to select an SD card when you check out. Another question that you might have had is, isn't 16 gigs of flash storage quite small for a 2K QHD dash cam? Well, the answer is yes, and this is why we opted for the non-eMMC version. 16 gigs is quite small, even with H.265 compression. So for us, what we prefer and recommend customers is just getting a larger size SD card that you can stick into your A129 Plus so that you can hold all your storage from there. By the way, did you know that this version, the non-eMMC version of the VIOFO A129 Plus, is an exclusive at BlackboxMyCar? If you're interested in making the purchase, you can use code BBMCTube for 5% off purchases over $250. Like what you see, don't forget to hit subscribe on your way out to stay up to date on everything VIOFO. Thanks for watching.